Got 5 tips today, Dr. Julie, on summertime sugar management. And it seems like June through mid-September, everybody's schedule is off, and the first thing that changes in diets. What can we actually avoid? Because summer seems to be the time where we have an excuse to eat ice cream every night of the week. Now, what are some healthy things that you can add in to make things extremely convenient and good for your child? And you talked about a bowl of fruit right away. Last tip, last thing we want to look at is the sugary summer drinks.
When we do these things together as a family and we plan out meals together and we plan out these snacks together, we're sharing it together.
Right.
And when we are sharing with something, we're conversing, we're talking, we're not consuming. We're more in tune with how much we're actually eating. And I think that is sometimes the biggest.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prime Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Skip Wyss, with my co-host, Dr. Julie Wyss. Good morning, Dr. Julie. How are you today?
I'm great. Good morning.
We are coming to you today from Legacy Life Media Studios right here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I hope you enjoy and absolutely love this podcast. And we love this studio. We love being able to bring you a message every week about just getting healthcare and chiropractic care out to the world. We are on an absolute mission, Dr. Julie, to help as many kids as we possibly can in our lifetime, and we are getting right back to that mission.
Absolutely. It's always fun watching the families grow and change and just realize that how easy it is to become a healthy family.
It is. It just takes steps. It doesn't take things being taken away. It takes steps in the right direction, always adding in something really, really good into our health and into our life and our environment, and just living a lifestyle of abundance and not a lifestyle of lack and negativity, right? So today's going to be fun. Today we did a podcast similar to this back in February. And today we're going to be spinning off of this again for summer. But I got 5 tips today, Dr. Julie, on summertime sugar management. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So we know as a society when summer rolls around, number one, just like we talked about last week with vitamin D and sun exposure, is our schedules get a little crazy, right? Schedules change 100%. And then it seems like June through mid-September, everybody's schedule is off. And the first thing that changes in diets. Diets and nutrition, everything changes because we start the year off. Everybody thinks the beginning of summer is Memorial Day. And Memorial Day weekend is when the first holiday cookouts and parties happen, and it's when everybody's diet starts going down the toilet. Their nutritional decisions start to change a little bit.
Well, I think it's just a change in thought process,
Right.
It's
right.
We were maybe thinking more on the fly. We're not prepping our meals in advance, or it's because we're always in more of a themed type of a party, or that it's like picnic type things that sometimes it's not always the most healthiest option.
It's not feasible because we've got Memorial Day, we have 4th of July, and we have Labor Day. Those are 3 main holidays. So May, July, and August, or September. And then in between there's graduation parties. And then there's weddings. And then there's camping, which we all know where I sit on camping. But all of these events, all of this summertime stuff, usually takes nutrition and just throws it out the door. Because everybody's in and out of the house nonstop. The weekends are always packed and busy. Everybody's running around. We really, as parents, we take time to prep, but we don't take time to meal prep during the summer because summer all of a sudden just becomes extremely busy.
Well, kids are out of school, right? So then we don't have that routine. So then why do we need to be so structured as a parent? And I think, right. So I think sometimes maybe just still having some guidelines or parameters, even though it is summer, we can change our routine, change it on its head and totally change things up, which is a perfect time to revamp our weekly meal schedule and what things can we do outside, make kids more hands-on to be able to help with meals and meal planning. Let's see what you have for your tips.
Well, that's the first tip, is trying to understand what we have coming up on our calendars, number one. number one first tip, like you just mentioned, is understanding what's coming up in our calendar. So we've been through Memorial Day already, survived May into June, just got through 4th of July, which most of the time 4th of July parties are packed with calories, packed with sweets, packed with lots of cakes and pies and all these things. And now we're headed into the latter half of July in through August here, and then the upcoming is Labor Day. This is usually when weddings happen. This is when camping starts for people, or they've been camping, so they're trying to get in these trips. So understanding what's coming up first and planning our calendar accordingly to prep for meals and prep for nutrition, okay? And then now what I want to talk about is what can we actually avoid? Because summer seems to be the time where we have an excuse to eat ice cream every night of the week because there's no school. So we're not having a lot of sugary snacks during school season. We're not. But we do during the summer because there's kind of excuses are thrown out the door, okay? So one of the big things that I want people to kind of think about avoiding is those dreaded little freeze pops.
The colored and the little clear tubing. So
those
the
ices.
Flavored sugar.
Yep, flavored sugar. So the flavored sugary things, those freeze pops, great in the summer, go-to snacks, easy to give your kids, actually super cheap to buy.
3 cents.
3 cents,
right?
Yep. But mind you want to look at the sugar content in these things and the dyes. Mm-hmm. Blue dye, red dye, yellow dye. Remember, red, blue, and yellow are what kind of colors?
Primary colors.
They're the primary colors. So people always talk about red dye 30, red dye 6, yellow 22, blue whatever. All of these are known carcinogens. All of them have problems. But if you have a dye that's green or purple or any other color, it was made from red, blue, or yellow. So if it's dyed, it's going to be a little bit harder on that child's nervous system. Popsicles are another one. The super cheap ones, people go with like the red, white, and blue pops for this time of year, the rocket pops, the popsicles that are orange. I'm like a sucker for the dreamsicles, the orange cream ones. Those are delicious. Strawberry cream ones, they're delicious, but they're just not good for us. We want to avoid those, but a good substitute for that is a Johnny Pop.
You do Johnny Pops, but I was just thinking like we would get a more relatively healthy juice, right? If it's a white grape juice, apple juice, and you can put your own fruit and you make your own popsicles.
They
own
make
fruit
the molds
purees
for them.
and
Yep.
So again, it's convenient, but it's also planning ahead. But have your kids helping with it. And I think that is part of the summertime routine and those memories that are made when you can have your kids make and do these things along with you.
It's become super, I wouldn't say easy, but it has become very convenient to be able to do these things on your own. They make popsicle molds. They make different molds that make cool little ice cube shapes. And if nothing else, if you need to resort to it, use an ice cube tray, stick some popsicle sticks in it, and freeze these things up. It all will benefit your child in the end and keep these sugars down. So you're not worried about constantly trying to change that when the school season rolls around. I think one of the biggest things that makes the beginning part of school season so hard is the detox from the summer sugars, the detox from the summer's dyes that we've had put in, the different candies we put in. All of this adds up over time. And when we start taking that stuff away when school rolls around, we go through this massive physiological and neurological detox. The other thing is ice cream. Now, I love ice cream. I like gelato too. I like anything frozen. I think that stuff's delicious, but it's not okay to do every day of the week. And we find that a lot with our patients, especially during the summer, is these kids come in, they're getting a lot of ice cream.
I mean, and we can use it as more of, the family gets through the week, or, we did this, this, and this. And again, I mean, we can talk about dairy being anti-inflammatory type of an option, which then leads to more things down the road. But again, not all ice cream is created equal. And so some is going to be more sugary than others. But again, there's some super, super easy recipes. If you're going to do ice cream, right, make it at home. And then you realize how long it takes. And so maybe that's why then you're only indulging once a week to make that treat. But then it turns into a treat. It's not something that just becomes part of a meal that you're having ice cream every single day.
Well, our 16-year-old is notorious for asking for ice cream almost every day. She could eat ice cream every day.
Because we know that we don't have it every day.
And she's like, we need to get ice cream, Dad. I'm like, no, we'll wait. And then we just keep putting it off if we can. And that's the best way to do this is one, consume it in moderation, but two, just make it more of a treat instead of a standard. And now one of the big culprits during the summer too are cakes, cupcakes, and lots of just baked good sweets. You wouldn't think that, but during the summer, because you try to bake stuff quickly because it's hot. So you're going to make cupcakes or cakes for these parties. Might get some brownies, but a lot of them chock full of sugar, lots of frosting on them. Very easy for your kids to eat, but again, can really give them a lot of excess sugar and really send the cart in the wrong direction. Messes with their bedtimes, messes with how they stay on task. And this all goes back to the last few episodes where we talk about surviving summer and really thriving during summer instead of surviving it and being in the survival mode, just limping along till we get back to the normal schedules of school. So having their bodies kind of maintaining and moving through things. So stay away from the cakes and the cupcakes and all these kind of things. Would you suggest that too, Dr. Julie?
Yeah, and I mean, again, if you're making them at home, there's alternatives to how we can make those things.
Yep. Tip number 3, which is things to add now. Now that we went through just a couple things to avoid and planning out your calendar and really seeing these dates coming up, knowing the foods that are going to be at these picnics, parties, and weddings you're going to be at. But then the next step is now, what are some healthy things that you can add in to make things extremely convenient and good for your child? And you talked about a bowl of fruit right away.
Honestly, when all of those things are an option, if there can just be a bowl of fresh fruit, lots of times our kids are going to opt for those other options. Not say, here, have this over that cupcake, but if both things are there, most times kids know how they feel internally. They may be craving that sugar thing.
Yeah, they'll tell you,
but they can get that
cramps.
same feeling from actually eating the whole fruit. And I think this is the season, right? This is like the summer months. I think there's a reason why
sweet
it's
cherries,
strawberry season, why it's cherry season, why it's raspberry season. Like these are the seasons that God has made it for available, right? When there's not school, to be able to go out as a family and to actually taste those things right off of the plants. And that's going to train a child to realize, okay, this is where my food comes from, and this is why it tastes so much better versus something that comes out of a can and then there's added sugar or different sweeteners to it. So anytime that we can get that whole food, that whole fruit in its natural form is going to be ideal. And again, doing that together as a family is a great motivation to be able to get out there and do it.
A really good summer go-to fruit is watermelon. Watermelon can, one, give your kids kind of the runs because of the sugar in it. It's primarily water, but it's great for them. And watermelon, because you're not going to have it year-round, is in season now during the summer. And there might be some of you out there listening to this be like, I would never feed my kid watermelon. Watermelon's wonderful. Watermelon is great for them. They don't need to eat a whole melon, but you can have it chilled. You can have it frozen. Again, can help your kids with their sweet tooth, but really help with their body and give them good nutrition and good vitamins coming across.
Well, it's many parents complain that their kids don't like to drink water, right?
Right.
And so the reason why watermelon is really good in this instance is because of the high water content. And lots of times if we're struggling with not getting that water and maybe dehydration, having that watermelon as an alternative is going to help to get that higher intake and the hydration.
But then also you can put it in water. So you can put watermelon in water to flavor it. You can put cucumber in water to flavor it. You can put any of these berries cut open into water to flavor it to get that hydration in. Stick a little mint in there, something. That also makes it kind of fun, makes it look a little different, helps mom and dad out too. You can use sparkling sodas. Club sodas to help make things a little fizzy. Like you can add a lot of fun things in here and still help promote your kids' nutrition. But a lot of people go to grapes. It's like the first thing they give their kids is grapes and bananas. I will tell you right now, grapes are great out of the fridge, but they're better out of the freezer because number one, they'll limit the amount your kids eat them. So they're not eating 30 at a sitting, but maybe like 10 to 15. But frozen grapes, excellent addition into nutrition. Really good flavor, really good for sugars because the sugars are more natural. They are going to spike their blood glucose just a little bit, but grapes are just better for them all around. Green and purple, wonderful additions. There's another fruit that I would strongly recommend that you give your kid during the summer, and that's pineapple. Pineapple, frozen pineapple, absolutely awesome. You can put that in a smoothie, but even more importantly is having that on hand in the fridge for them to eat. Why? Why pineapple? Pineapple is an excellent source of magnesium, and it helps stimulate natural melatonin production.
Yeah, it tastes good.
And it tastes good, but it's going to help your kids sleep at night. Super important. Super important. Parents will always complain that my kid's sleep schedule's off, especially during the summer. And pineapple will help regulate that, and so will kiwis. Mm-hmm. The mighty kiwi, the green old mighty kiwi, cut those things in half, eat them with a spoon. They give you magnesium. They stimulate melatonin production. They help with sleep. Like, excellent source.
I'd love to. So if you're listening to this podcast, in the comments down below, I would love to know if you're a kiwi eater. And then if you are, do you eat the peeling?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
There are some, and I don't want to say like what
they eat the whole thing.
But they eat the whole thing, and you can. But I'm curious to see our listeners of, if you eat kiwis, do you eat the peeling as well?
I can't get past the fuzzy mouth feel. That's the thing. Like, if you could shave a kiwi and get the beard off it, I think it might be a little bit better. But there's a lot of value in that peeling. There's a lot of nutritional value in the peelings. So going back to this list, berries first. Berries are always excellent. Little higher sugar content are your grapes, your watermelon, your pineapple. Kiwi is excellent as well. So those are things that you can give your kids during the summer to substitute all of these sugary snacks and sugary things out there that you will see massive bang for your buck. Now, another tip. It's okay to have a s'more every now and then. What do you think about s'mores, Dr. Julie?
I think they're delicious. I've done them either with the Hershey bars on them. You can do you can do s'mores many different ways.
Yes, and to keep them healthy, I would recommend that you use dark chocolate, 85% cocoa. It's a little bitter. It's not going to be super sweet, but you get the sweet from the marshmallow.
And hey, if you're a parent, if you don't want to be sharing your s'mores with your kids, the higher that chocolate count, they're not going to like it.
They're not going to want it as much, right? Stay away from the milk chocolate. But the marshmallow will give you the sweetness. And then if you have graham crackers, now there are some people out there, they do homemade graham crackers. I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to make homemade graham cracker, Dr. Julie?
I'm sure we could find a recipe, but
yeah, that just sounds like a lot of work.
We don't do them often. So again, when we're going to do it,
that's right, and that's why I'm recommending it. Is that you're not doing it often. I mean, how many of you are doing a campfire every night cooking s'mores? None of you. Okay, you might be doing them. You might have a campfire 5 times during the summer, maybe 6. I don't think that's such a bad idea to have a s'more there, and it kicks the pants out of anything else you can be eating. But also, you can do gluten-free graham crackers. Right? And you can get gluten-free graham crackers anywhere.
Yep. You can make your own marshmallows as well. So I think again, with all of these things, it's also the moderation. Right. So you're making memories, but if you're having a campfire, you're having s'mores, that means that you're outside. So before you're doing a family activity. And again, like, we're talking nutrition, we're talking snacks, but I think the key resounding thing here is that you're doing it together as a family. You're making the things together so that you're enjoying them together. And typically when we're enjoying something together, we don't find ourselves overeating. We're not sitting down with a bag of chips and realizing the whole thing is gone. When we do these things together as a family, and we plan out meals together, and we plan out these snacks together, we're sharing it together.
Right.
And when we are sharing with something, we're conversing, we're talking, we're not consuming. We're more in tune with how much we're actually eating. And I think that is sometimes the biggest struggle, that when we are choosing to eat and we're on the road and we're go, that we just blindly just start eating, and we're munching constantly.
Yeah,
and it's okay to fast, right? Like, our bodies are meant to do that. And sometimes having that fast and then enjoying something together, we're going to be able to make better memories and do things together as a family.
Exactly. And you know what ties it all in? Campfires and s'mores. Now, last thing we want to look at is the sugary summer drinks. So, Dr. Julie, in your mind, what are the biggest culprits for summery drinks right now that are actually negative to a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember growing up, like, we were talking about camping. It's the juice boxes, the juice bags, the different Gatorades, like those things. Like, they're meant for hydration, drinks. The sports drinks, but they are really, really very high sugar content. And while those are super easy to grab, just like it is, sodas and the juices, we just really need to be cognizant of what the makeup of those things actually are.
Well, and the dyes in them, like you can't see in a juice box unless you cut it open, let alone the mold that's in there. You can't see in those silver packety things. We're not going to name names because there's some generics as well. You can't see into those. You don't know what dyes are in there, mold that's in there. A lot of these things are old. They've been sitting on store shelves for a very long time. Sugary drinks as well, like sodas, diet sodas, they all are lined and you can't really see in those either. These all have dyes in them, things that our parents out there are trying to actively avoid as much as possible, trying to keep the sugars out as much as possible. Actually, a sugar-free drink that you can have during the summer that some of you may have never thought about is actually drinking a Fresca. Frescas do have some additives in them. Yes, they are not a soda pop. They're actually a sparkling water, and they don't have any sugar in them. So that's something to maybe on occasion add in for your kids in a pinch. If they like soda, to make them think that maybe they are drinking one.
Well, I think the biggest thing, is our kids are always watching us. And so they're mirroring what we are doing. And so I think we need to step back and look at what we're doing as a parent. Right?
Yeah.
If we're grabbing these things as well to say, yeah, this is okay for me, but you can't have it. So sometimes that's that gut check of, all right, maybe summertime is the perfect time if I've been indulging or I need to stop, cut something out of my diet. Summertime is the perfect time to do that.
It is, because there's so many good things available. Now, lemonade. Lemonade's a culprit. A lot of people drink lemonade. They drink the brands that come and they're yellow and they got this, you can break them apart in the little cups and divvy them out. And you can also make lemonade from the sugary packety drinks, but I suggest you do it on your own as a family and take time to make it. Take 4 lemons, squeeze them, get all the juice out, zest an entire lemon, and then boil that together, bring it to a simmer. Add some distilled water, probably 4 to 5 cups. Add 2 tablespoons of honey, simmer that out, stir it up really good, and then drink it once it's cool. That will be some of the best lemonade you will ever drink, period. Brecken makes this stuff. Our son makes this stuff, and he likes it more than anything. Yes, you can buy the organic lemonades in the stores. There's still additives in them. They're not perfect, but then you can control it at your house, right? Mm-hmm. Meyer lemons, best lemons to do this with. Yep. Zest them out. Get organic ones and wash them off good if you're going to zest it so you don't get a bunch of garbage in there. And then, Dr. Julie, what do you think in your mind are good substitutes? Just buttoning this all up, what are some good substitutes? We have good stuff in this office. Vitamin C drinks.
Oh, for drinks, yeah. So I mean, there's a multitude of different companies, and we've tried a lot of them, but we have a couple different. It's easy to grab and go, and it's our kids know that, okay, if I've been out exercising or I'm hydrated, so we have different hydration drinks that doesn't have the sugar, has more natural effects in it, but it's going to keep them hydrated.
Yep.
And then we also have different energy options for those that, definitely need, if we're trying to cut down on the coffee or we need extra energy. So we have, again, not everything is created equal, but we found the things that we can still be able to get the energy if we're looking for hydration, if we're looking to boost the immune system. That is kid tested, mother approved, tastes good. And we know that at least if we are consuming these things, that it is the best options available.
Yeah, so you've got those vitamin C additives. We've got hydration packets that help, and all of these things are in small packet forms that can be added to bottles of water and easily satisfy those sweet tooths. Think that they're getting Kool-Aid. The vitamin C stuff that we have and that's out there, we'll put a link for it in the show notes below. That actually tastes like the best Kool-Aid on earth, and it's amazing. And then we have some electrolyte substitutes as well for those sports drinks out there. So we're not giving our kids solid, and there's nothing wrong with giving them just really good water. Nothing wrong with that at all. So there you have it, folks. Do you have anything else you want to add in, Dr. Julie?
Perfect.
So the 5 tips to summary drink. So the 5 tips to summer sugar management. There we are, Dr. Julie. Have a wonderful summer, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Go out there, get it done. Bye, everyone.